here, just out enjoying a morning paddle on a windy September day. Just taking a little break on an island here, resting from battling the whitecaps to get here. And I got tagged by someone, so this is a tag response video. Stay tuned. I got tagged several months ago by Mark Young of Shawn Bushcraft. Actually, more than a few months ago, many months ago, maybe close to a year ago. I was tagged to answer 7 questions. And if you're not familiar with tag videos, a tag video it's like a game of tag. You ask somebody a question, or you set a challenge for them, you name a person, they have to answer the questions or perform the channel, and then they pass it on, they tag some other people. And tag videos in the bushcraft community are an old, fun tradition. I've always enjoyed watching tag videos, and I've always wanted to be tagged. So I was very pleased and very honored when Mark Young at Shawn Bushcraft tagged me. And then not long after that, I got tagged by 3 other people to do other videos. So there will be more tag response videos forthcoming from me. And I apologize to Mark Young and everyone else who tagged me for being so tardy in replying and meeting their challenges and answering their questions. It wasn't because I didn't want to do it. It was because I've had some difficulties, some health problems in the last year. Specifically, I herniated a disc in my lower back, which kept me bedridden for many months, and then many months, more than a year of recovery since then, during which time I wasn't able to get out, and my channel was largely dormant. But I'm better now, and I'm getting out again, and so I'm happy to finally get around to making these tag videos. So Mark Young tasked me with answering 7 questions, and here they are one by one. Question 1, why did you start your YouTube channel? I started this channel initially because I just wanted to upload a video, a kind of tribute video to some friends of mine. My very first upload was actually just a photo montage of myself, my wife, and 2 of our friends whom we introduced to canoe tripping and had gone on many camping trips with. And it was just a little tribute video to them. It was called Gone Canoeing with Friends, and it was just photos of our trips together set to music. That's why I created the channel initially, just to upload that. And then once I had the channel, I thought, geez, maybe I should upload some other content. I certainly watched plenty of videos about camping in the outdoors and bushcraft. And some part of me thought that would be fun to do, but I didn't know exactly where to go and how to do it. I didn't know anything about recording videos or sound equipment or anything like that. So, and honestly, I still don't. I just started making videos. I just decided, you know what, I'm going to start making videos about the things that I know something about. Some of the gear that I use, that I have used for a long time and that I am comfortable recommending to people. Practices that I enjoy doing, aspects of camping that I like, some tips and tricks that I've learned and picked up either from other people or just innovated myself. And somewhere along the way, I realized that there weren't a lot of videos about crown land camping. And here in Canada, we are blessed. We have all of this crown land around us that is there for us to use and enjoy in low impact ways. Camping, hiking, snowshoeing, backpacking, all of that kind of stuff. And I thought, I'm kind of fortunate. I have been doing this kind of camping for a while now, and I know how to locate and identify crown land. I know what the rules are, what the do's and don'ts are, what the best practices are on crown land as opposed to camping in a provincial park, for instance. And I thought I should share that. So in the recent years, most of my channel content has been devoted to advancing and promoting crown land camping. I want people to know about crown land. I want people to know how to find it. I want people to know what they can and can't do and what they should and shouldn't do when they're out there. My view is that crown land is this precious gift that we have here in Canada. Most people in most countries simply do not have the kind of wilderness available to them to enjoy the way we do here. And I want people to enjoy it, because if we don't enjoy it, if it is not made use of in low impact recreational ways of the sort that I recommend, then what's going to happen is it's eventually all going to get sold off and developed, and mining rights and resource rights will get awarded to private commercial interests, and eventually it will just disappear. And the only way that that's going to be prevented from happening is if people make use of it, if people know that it exists, know where to find it, know what they can and can't do, and come to love some piece of Crown land near them and others that are more remote. And it's only when people know about this fantastic resource that's available to us that they will come to love it and cherish it and value it, and so they will want to protect it. They will work to protect it. They're not just going to stand idly by and let it get destroyed or parceled off and sold and ultimately disappear. So that's why I created my channel initially, and why I have continued making videos that I make. Question 2, when did you start your channel? I opened the channel in 2010, I forget what month. As I said earlier, the whole point was I just wanted to upload a little tribute video to some friends of ours. And then I started making different kind of content, actual videos. So it was in 2010. And I should say, in all this time, it's now 2018, I have not made a lot of videos. I've made something in the neighborhood of 30 videos, perhaps, something like that. That's not a lot of content in 8 years' time. So I've never been a sort of a high output YouTuber. But I wanted to make some content that was a little bit original. So while I don't produce a lot, I hope that what I do is a little different and worthwhile. So the next question is, how did you choose your channel name? Well, the channel name right now is Pine Marten, but that wasn't the original name of the channel. The original name of the channel was called Gone Canoeing. And it was called Gone Canoeing because my introduction to backcountry canoe tripping on Crown land was through a number of books by Canadian wilderness tripper and author and public speaker Kevin Callan. He wrote a series of paddlers' guides, route books on where to go canoeing, route guides into provincial parks, route guides onto Crown land, and that's how I started discovering Crown land routes and how I found my love for it. And the first book in the of all the books that he's written along those lines was a book called Gone Canoeing. So I just wanted to say thank you to Kevin Callan and kind of pay a little tribute to it. And I named my channel Gone Canoeing in honor of that first book that I read by him that I found so useful and basically life-changing, actually, lifestyle-changing anyway. Now the channel is presently called Pine Marten, not Gone Canoeing, because at some point Google, YouTube, in its wisdom decided that you couldn't have a username that was different from your channel name. It had to be one or the other. And one day I just logged into my channel, and Gone Canoeing was gone. The name had just been changed to Pine Marten. So that's been the name of my channel ever since, the Pine Marten channel. And why did I choose the username Pine Marten? Well, I just like those critters, pine martens, those little woodland animals, pine martens. Unfortunately, Pine Marten, M-A-R-T-E-N, like the animal, was taken. So there was no other way of spelling Pine Marten that wasn't already taken, and you couldn't have duplicate names. So I went with Pine Marten with a Y. So that's why this is called the Pine Marten channel, and that's why I'm called Pine Marten. Question 4. How long do you plan to make videos? Indefinitely, as long as I think I have some original content to contribute. I don't like making the same kind of content that everybody else makes. I don't do tons of gear reviews, for instance, and that's because there's so many channels out there that do it so much better than I ever could. So I will occasionally do a gear review on something that I have been using for some time, that I like and recommend, and that I'm very familiar with, and I know the ins and outs, and I can genuinely recommend. So I don't, just buy a new piece of gear and show it off, or do a quick gear review after having barely used a product or anything like that. I'm trying to produce some sort of more original content. There are a lot of people that are very good at videography and very good at doing trip reports and sort of catalog and cataloging and documenting all of their trips in detail. There are wonderful channels out there. I watch them myself, just like I watch all kinds of gear review channels. But I just don't have the skill to make those kinds of videos. So I don't do a lot of trip logs. You'll see snippets of trips that I do, but I don't do I don't detail or record all of my trips and outings. I would if I could. If I had the video making skills and the technology, you know, some good cameras and sound equipment and stuff like that, I probably would do it. But I just don't, and I don't have the wherewithal to learn it. It's a case of it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks. So I'm content to make content of the sort that I have been making, promoting Crown Land, showing off the kind of gear that I use, the kinds of practices that I enjoy, some tips and tricks and things like that. Certainly more stuff about winter camping. And I've got tons of ideas for videos that I want to make, the kind of content that I want to see that isn't out there. So this is kind of a weird niche channel where you, I think, are likely to see content that you're not likely to see everywhere else. So as long as I think I can make videos like that, I'll keep the channel open, and as long as I'm healthy enough to be out here, I continue to make videos. Fifth question, do you make your own thumbnails? Thumbnails are the little pictures that you see when you see a video in your YouTube feed or in your Google Plus feed or your Facebook feed or something. The little icon, the little image, there's a little still photograph that represents what the video is about. That's called a thumbnail. And so the question is, do I make my own thumbnails? For years, I didn't. I didn't know that you could do that. At some point, I clued in that, hey, there's an option here where you can make your own thumbnails. So very recently, I started making thumbnails. I don't do a lot of clickbaity stuff. I don't think it's a good idea. I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's a good practice. So I avoid sort of clickbaity stuff, although the temptation is there to sort of direct eyeballs to one's video. But yeah, recently I have started making thumbnails, and I think it's a good idea because very often the thumbnails that YouTube suggests in the editing mode when you've just uploaded your videos, they're often very, very bad still frames that the program chooses. It seems like fully half of the pictures or 2/3 of the pictures are pictures of me with my mouth open making some goofy expression. So yeah, I have taken to making my own thumbnails and using those. I think it's actually a good idea. Question 6, do you make your own intros and outros? I don't actually have intros and outros. The closest thing I have to an intro video and music is a title card at the beginning that shows you the title of the video and a bird song, just a whistle, a bird call at the beginning. And I have the same thing at the end. Actually, on that note, the most common question that is asked of me, posted in comments or sent to me in emails and things like that or on Facebook is, what is the name of that bird that sings that song? Because it's familiar to most people in North America, especially in Canada. And it's the call of the white-throated sparrow. And I chose that because I happen to love that bird song. Whenever I hear it, it just brings to mind fond childhood memories of growing up in rural Quebec. And it brings to mind warm, fun summer days in the wilderness. So that's the closest I come to having an intro or an outro. I don't actually like intros and outros that much. I find that very often people make them too long. They make them like 20, 30 seconds long, and they're kind of repetitive, and so I prefer not to make one. Last question, question 7. What's your video equipment? Whatever camera I happen to own at the time. I started with a tiny little digital camera. I think it was a little Sony or Canon, I can't remember. Respectable image quality and sound quality at the time. I didn't ever have any kind of external mic or anything like that. Right now I'm recording this on my phone, which is an LG G6. My wife owns a really nice, what is it? I don't remember. I'll say it now, and I'll include a photo of it, of what it is. But I barely know how to operate that camera, so She usually operates it for me because I just get confused and forget how it works, and invariably it's a disaster. I like working with my phone. I find that works tolerably well. On that note, actually, I would like some input from any of you who are watching, though. The difficulty that I have is not so much video quality, but sound quality in my videos. So I'm interested in a good external mic, like a lavalier mic, something inexpensive and wireless. If anyone can recommend something that is very affordable, you know, say under $50, that's wireless, that would do wonders. It doesn't have to be the best sound quality. It just has to be able to permit me to get away from the camera and still be heard, especially on windy days. Okay, that's it for the 7 questions. The next part is the hardest part. I have to tag 3 people and ask them these same questions. So the 3 people that I have tagged are people who have channels that I have been following for a number of years. They're actually fairly big channels. I think they're all bigger than mine. But they're people whose content I have watched for years and enjoyed. They have good production quality in their videos, very, very interesting content. And I am genuinely interested in what they would have to say in answer to these particular questions about the nature of their channel and how they achieve the production quality that they do. So I'm genuinely interested. Before I name them, let me preface that by saying that nobody is under any obligation to respond to a tag video. So please, none of you, if you ever watch this video, don't feel any pressure or obligation to respond, or that you have to crank out a video just because you got tagged. I will not take any umbrage if you don't bother to do so. Tag response videos they're a little labor of love. So I was happy to do this, and I felt honored to do this. But I mean, no one should feel that they have to sort of take time out of their busy lives to do a response video. That being said, who are the people? The first person is a really big channel, Shawn James of My Reliance. His channel has just exploded in the last year because he built a cabin all by himself, by hand, out in the middle of nowhere, and he did a kind of time-lapse video that went viral and was aired on a major American news network. Fox News, I think, originally aired it. So his channel has just exploded. But even before that, his channel had good traction because his content is genuinely good. So Shawn James, if you're watching this and you're interested in responding, please do. I will be very, very grateful if you do. I'll be interested in what you have to say, because Shawn James has a very unusual channel, and I think the reasons why he makes videos is different from the kinds of responses that you would get from most people in the camping and bushcraft community. All right, the second person is another YouTuber I have been following for years. In fact, I've been following this YouTuber and his content and his contributions before he had a YouTube channel. And this is none other than Winter Trekker, one of the founders of wintertrekking.com. He also goes by the name Hoop on a canoeing forum called Canadian Canoe Routes. I was reading his posts on the Canadian Canoe Routes forum for years. I have learned a ton from that gentleman over the years about canoeing and also about winter camping. He makes great content on his YouTube channel. And I would be interested in why he makes YouTube videos. So yeah, Winter Trekker, Hoop, if you're watching, I'm interested in what you would have to say about the nature of your channel. And lastly, I would like to hear from the Wild Yam, if you're willing. Jen at the Wild Yam. She makes videos about camping, about bushcraft, about her travels abroad, vacation trips and things like that. She also has an off-grid cabin, and she shows what life is like on her off-grid cabin. I've been watching her content for years with interest, and I would love to hear, Jen, what you have to say about the nature of your channel and how you make your videos. Okay, that's it. Those are the 7 questions, and those are my 3 tags. Thank you all for watching. Thank you again, Mark Young, and for your patience. And to the other 3 people who tagged me to do response videos, they are forthcoming. All right, thank you for watching.